Hello, good evening, and welcome to our front. Now, dark clouds hang over the 2024 budget as Speaker of Parliament adjourns the legislature without a clear directive as to whether the government's policy and estimates for 2024 has been passed. This was after the majority in Parliament staged a walkout following the call for a headcount by the Speaker, accusing him of equivocating on whether or not the budget has been passed. Listen to the majority leader explaining why they staged that boycott.
When we finished, what was to be done was for the Speaker to put the question. Now, we raised issues initially about procedure. And as you heard the Deputy Majority Leader, he said to the Speaker that after putting the question and declaring the results, if a member wanted to challenge, he would have then to come with a challenge first. The member just got up and said that on account of Order 1132, he's inviting the Speaker to do a head count. That was not a challenge. So that was the issue the Deputy Leader raised. Then along the line, as we traveled, the Speaker then said, well, he made a declaration, he expressed an opinion that he thought that the ayes have it. So the member could challenge it. You are all there. You're all there. You heard the Speaker loud and clear. Why should a Speaker beat such a hasty retreat from what he had said? He said to us that he thought, and I'm quoting him, that I think the ayes have it. That is how speakers make pronouncements and determination. I think the ayes have it. And if he's convinced and persuaded, then he go further to say that the ayes have it. Or maybe I think the noes have it. The noes have it. That's how it's done. Once we say the noes have it, then the determination has been made. In this case, he said, I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Then you have a Speaker making a U-turn, a sudden U-turn to say that no, he didn't add that the ayes have it. He just expressed an opinion. You're all there, you heard him loud and clear. And that's most unfortunate. That's most unfortunate. So we think that the proper thing should be done. So we raised these preliminary issues. However, when the dust settled, we said, okay, let's take the vote in spite of the initial objections that we had raised. Let's take the vote because he was insisting on the head count. Then we said, okay, we are available. Take the head count. What is happening is that there are 5 members of the minority who are not here. So all that he's doing is to play for time to enable them to come to the chamber. That is it. That's all that it is. What are the names of those of them who are not there?
Honorable Ayariga.
Ayariga is not here.
Honorable Senator.
Sam George is not here. Senator is not here. Ajekum is not here. And Jachikwesin is not here. There are 5 of them who are not here. All that the Speaker is doing is playing for time to enable them to find a way to enter the chamber. What kind of thing is this? What kind of thing is that? We insisted that, well, we're raising these preliminary issues. But you insist that you didn't say that. So I dropped it. I said, okay, so let's take the head count. And he said we're going to do the head count. What was he waiting for? And for good about 30 minutes, he's not doing anything. He's sitting down there. What's the import of it?
Now adopting a division procedure.
And now he says that, oh, we should get up and then go and write your name and then vote. That is a division. Did Anna Kofi-Boa call for a division? He said he was calling for a head count. So the Speaker now wants to inject himself to say that no, it's a division. What kind of attitude is this? That is why we left the chamber for him. And let him do his own thing. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the import of what you have done. Thank you very much.
The justification of the majority in Ghana's parliament for their walkout earlier today over conduct they consider to be not reflective of the role of the Speaker of Parliament. They believe he was equivocating, aiding the minority who had 5 members not present in the parliament. All of those accusations will have to be answered. And joining us to do this and talk about just more than just that, because he's not only been building houses, he's been rescuing people in his home constituency and adjoining constituencies where there's been massive devastation because of the flooding and the opening of that particular Kosombo Dam. The Honorable Samuel Okudjota Blanca is also ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament. And sometimes people are not sure which other many committees he serves on. And part-time investigative journalist or member of Parliament. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Raymond. Good to see you.
I hope you are doing well.
Yeah, it's been a really difficult and devastating period.
Very much
but we are sojourning on. So we give glory to God.
We'll come to the victims of Northdown and the other areas close to that. But let's start in Parliament. We thought there was going to be a smooth process, even though the minority had indicated that there are difficulties with the budget, and the minority leader stated that they are likely to actually reject the budget. Why did the conversations end up in a walkout, which led to the subsequent adjourning of the House today?
You're right. Good evening to you. Good evening to all viewers. Clearly a momentous day in Parliament. For the second time in 4 years, our majority colleagues have walked out on their own budget. It's never happened, unprecedented, that the side that presents their budget will be walking out on their own budget. They did that for the 2022 budget when clearly they realized that they didn't have the numbers and that if matters were put to a vote, they would lose. They walked out for the 2022 budget. And now for the 2024 budget, they have done the same. Look, fortunately, parliamentary proceedings are live. Everybody witnessed what happened. And as part of the Open Governance Initiative, this particular speaker has been seeking to deepen. So you notice that he's the only speaker who even acknowledges people in the public gallery. And he's been opening Parliament for everybody to see for themselves what is happening. What happened today is that the majority side, and I've heard the Honorable try to spin and engage in a very genius analysis. He accusing his side of not having the numbers. If we didn't have the numbers, you were so confident for a vote. Why did you stay? You also what they announced that they were out, and they didn't work it out. And
He got up on his feet and said they were willing to take the vote immediately, and that they wanted the vote to be taken immediately, the headcount happening immediately. Then a short while after the speaker said, okay, the procedure is that we are going to get you, when your name is mentioned, you get up and actually be counted along that line. They decided to walk out. That sounded to me like a man who was ready and willing to lead his people into the headcount.
You need to go back. So before the attempt to pretend they were ready, remember there was a lot of filibustering when the Honorable Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, Deputy Minority Leader, stood on Standing Order 1132. And 1132 is very clear that, quote, a member may call for head count or division if the opinion of Mr. Speaker on the voice vote is challenged. So we have always used this provision when there's been a voice vote, because if you look at Order 1131, it provides that when the question has been put by Mr. Speaker at the conclusion of the debate, the votes shall be taken by voices, aye or no, provided that Mr. Speaker may, in his discretion, instead of declaring the result on the voice votes, call for a head count. So even the Speaker, on his own, without a prompting from any member of Parliament, can call for a head count or division, as Order 1131 provides. So the Honorable Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa stood grounded on Order 1132 and said that, look, we call for, because if you listen to the Speaker's ruling, anytime speakers say that I think the ayes or the noes have it, in this case the Speaker said, I think the ayes have it, clearly you should know that even the Speaker is not sure. So unless you want to sit on your rights, today we decided that we're not going to sit on our rights. Under our standing orders, we have the option to call for division, which is what we did. And the Deputy Minority Leader called for division. You notice that as soon as that was done, what is so strange, what is so, earth-shaking about calling for a division? If you know that you have the numbers, you should just have even commended Honorable Emmanuel Ama Kofi-Boa, the Deputy Minority Leader, for calling for the headcount. And then you avail yourself. But if you recall, there was a lot of filibustering. I mean, the Speaker of Parliament has labeled the Honorable Afenyo Makin as the official filibuster in Parliament. He does a lot of that, and all they were doing was to buy time to allow for their members to come in. Look, the fact of the matter is that as we speak, even now that the House has been adjourned, the Honorable Kennedy Ejapon is not in the country. As we speak, they do not have the Deputy Foreign Minister, the Honorable Mavis Nkansa Buedu. She was not in the chamber. She is not in town. Okay. As we speak, they don't have the Deputy Finance Minister, the Honorable John Kuma. He's not available. Then the chair of the Constitution and Legal Affairs Committee, the Honorable Kwame Nyemedu, is not in town. So there are 4 of their members who they cannot account for. That is the fact. Of course, I will be honest to admit that we did not have
5.
It's not true that we didn't have 5.
The majority leader said 5.
It's wrong. Then the Honorable Sam George has exposed him.
Okay, of course. We spoke after that. Yes, we took it live here.
Yes, I mean.
So out of the 5, maybe 4.
Look, the
Honorable Mahama.
I know of only 3. Mm-hmm. The Honorable Mahama Ayariga,
yes,
who, if you even look at the votes and proceedings of today, you'd notice that he is absent with permission from Mr. Speaker. He's out on official assignment. So is the Honorable Zaneto Ajiman Rawlings and the Honorable James Jachi Kwesin, who are all absent with permission. I know of only 3. Now, it's only 3. Yeah, I'm being very transparent with you.
So you mentioned Ayariga, Jachi Kwesin, and Zaneto.
And Zaneto, yes.
Who is the other one? Because you mentioned 5.
No, he's wrong. He should. He who alleges or avers must prove.
I mentioned certain Ajekume. Do you have a?
He's around. He's available.
He was in Parliament.
Yes, I saw him today. So you see, they know that we don't have 3. They don't have 4. They cannot account for 4. Indeed, when the proceedings even started, they didn't have, a lot more. That's why they were doing a lot of, filibustering to buy time. For example, the Lands Minister came in much later. He was not available. The Education Minister came in much later. The point is that if the vote had proceeded, the best case scenario for them will be a tie. And remember that our standing orders are very clear on the matter of a tie. Because remember that this is a hung parliament, and they only have 1 member advantage because the second deputy speaker has decided to do business with them. So with the scenario playing out where they do not have 3 of their members, they cannot account for 3 of their members, we cannot account for 3, it will mean that the matter will be a tie. And under the standing orders, under our constitution, when a matter in parliament is a tie, the matter is lost. So the budget will have been lost. So they should just be sincere and honest with the Ghanaian people. They showed horrible leadership. Look, this is your own budget. You can't show up and defend your budget.
But the accusation was not to the man. Look at Speaker of Parliament. The accusation was that he was aiding you. He was deliberately stalling for you. He was also even considering presenting a call for a head count as one that requires division. That's the other point they raised. Is it a practice?
Look, if they really wanted the division to proceed, they ought not to have walked out, no matter how long the Speaker takes. You see, the Speaker wanted to be sure, because, mind you, there are a lot of strangers in the House. And if you go through our standing orders, remember that there was a time that the Finance Minister was asked to even leave the chamber. Because when a division is called, our standing orders really provide that you need to clear the chamber. Because, ex-official members are allowed to come into the chamber. So you saw the Finance Minister today, you saw the Transport Minister also come into the chamber. To the extent that the Speaker did not want to repeat what he did a couple of years ago, which they took offense. They said, why was the Finance Minister asked to leave us? Which was the right thing the Speaker did. The Speaker this time round decided that he would rather opt for the clerks at table mentioning our names. So when you hear your name, you get up. So there was a lot of housekeeping going on behind the scenes to allow for a head count to be done where the clerk at table will mention your name, then you get up. Because you see...
Is that a standard process? Is that what you have always done as a parliament when it comes to a head count?
Yes, we've done that before. It's allowed. If you go through our standing orders, in terms of division and standing orders, there is quite some flexibility. So you can all get up, for example, and then the clerks will be asked to count. We've done that before. Then we've also done where you are called individually, you stand up to be counted. Then we have also done the way of voting where you walk through the aisle. That is also allowed. So there are all kinds of options available when you go through our standing orders, including when it is a secret ballot. With that one, ballot boxes are brought in, ballot papers are brought in, and it must be, a secret vote. So there are all kinds of mechanisms. At the end of the day, what matters is that if you are confident, you are sure of your numbers, you stay and you vote. In this case, it's clear to me and to everybody who was observing that the majority side did not have the numbers. I really think that what we are witnessing under this Akufo-Addo government is a failure of leadership. You have a situation where
How's that got to do with the president and the vice president?
It's his budget. The budget is presented
on behalf of the president by the finance minister.
It's very clear. But on the authority of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
But this is to do with who appears or does not appear in Parliament.
No, you see, this is such...
Because you cannot rely just on the numbers unavailable to say that there's a failure of leadership.
Failure of leadership. It's failure of leadership.
And you are starting from the presidency.
Yes. Because
if MPs do not show up for their work, how is the president responsible for that?
He is the leader of the party. He's the leader of government business. He must make sure that his people believe in his economic policy.
Okay.
And they show up in Parliament. So right from the president, look, the fish starts rotting from the head, from the top. So the president must take responsibility all the way down to the current majority leadership. They have failed. All of what they are doing, trying to blame the speaker, is just passing the buck. They want the speaker to take the fall for their own ineptitude, for their own abysmal failure. They could not account for their numbers. Look, their own members don't believe in this budget. And I really can understand.
I've not seen a single member suggest that. I've not seen a single member of Parliament
you don't need a
on the majority side who say that we don't believe in the budget.
Nothing can be stronger than the conduct of people. The conduct of people.
Only three, to be fair. Only three. Okay, if you say four, yes.
Yeah.
Not showing up.
Four, yes.
Okay, now, but...
And when you know that this is a razor-thin parliament, where even one
the numbers
member
matter.
Makes a difference. How do you explain when as many as four? And some of them are ministers.
Well,
your deputy foreign minister, your
this.
deputy finance minister. I mean, the deputy finance minister, his own budget, that is emanating from his ministry.
If he's conducting government business elsewhere.
Government business elsewhere, more important than that is why the budget has failed.
Well, now, I want to come to the other point because the finance minister is very convinced that, so far as he's aware, the budget passed and they are moving on.
I can spare the finance minister and bear with him. He's never been a member of parliament. He doesn't understand these parliamentary processes. Look, once...
But certainly that can be the view of the majority too. I don't think that's the view.
Look, this majority has been engaged in a lot of flip-flopping, a lot of dishonest and disingenuous statements. I mean, look at how they are even distorting what happened in Parliament, mentioning names of people who they saw. I mean, the Honourable Sam George was in Parliament with us all day. So if the majority leader, after seeing Sam George, how active he was today in the chamber, could hold a press conference, thinking that it wouldn't come to attention so quickly, and mention Sam George as part of people who were not. So what? Look, I don't take anything past this majority. The fact of the matter is that as we speak, the records of the House, and you will see the votes and proceedings, you will see the official report of today's proceedings. It will report accurately that the 2024 budget, there is no decision. The budget has not been approved. This budget is...
Is that what the Speaker said before leaving?
This budget
because
is
when he
hanging.
adjourned the House, what exactly did he communicate before adjourning the House?
So what the Speaker communicated, the Speaker quoted Order 104, which provides that in the case of grave disorder arising in the House, Mr. Speaker may, if he thinks it is necessary to do so, adjourn the House without question put or suspend the sitting till a time to be named by him. So this is all that the Speaker came to do, quoted Order 104 and said that because in his view there was grave disorder, this is the standing order that should apply. So he's adjourning the House till 10 a.m. tomorrow in the forenoon. The Speaker made no pronouncement. Indeed, if this budget had been approved, the Speaker would then have proceeded to say that this budget is hereby approved. The 2024 budget is approved. Go look from 1993, all speakers, when the budget is approved, after the vote, they state categorical. And then after that, they commit the estimates to the various committees. So that was not done.
So when the majority walked out, why didn't the Speaker continue to allow you to vote on the budget?
It is a legitimate question. I mean, I was asking myself the same question. And I don't know if it was...
Did he see wisdom in the conduct of the majority? Did he now come to realize that perhaps he was wrong and the majority was right? So let's give them time to come back to the House. Because to many people watching from outside, when a similar incident happened, the process continued.
Yes, yes.
So why was it different this time around?
Fair question. And I can tell you that there are a lot of us on the minority side who really remain at a loss. And we would want to give the Right Honourable Speaker an opportunity to clarify that conduct, because we thought that we could have finished the matter. We had the majority side on the ropes. They were in 6s and 7s in total disarray. They clearly didn't believe in their own budget. They didn't organize. They didn't show leadership. They were in such a mess. And look, these are not people who you spare. I mean, the budget is the most important document. And if you can't mobilize your members to come and vote for the budget, you should be punished. And we didn't know why the Speaker honestly gave them such a long
But did you
road.
act that?
So
when you returned,
when the Speaker returned, he did not allow for debates or discussions from the floor. He just immediately quoted Order 104 and said, based on that order, we say that if there is, because the order is very strong, that in the discretion of the Speaker, if there is grave disorder, he can just adjourn or suspend.
So this was construed as grave disorder?
Yes, grave disorder. That's what the Speaker said. If you look at what Order 104, grave disorder, in the case of grave disorder arising in the House, Mr. Speaker, if he thinks it's necessary to do so, adjourn the House without question put or suspend the sitting till a time to be named by him. So that's what he did. So there was no debate, no discussion whatsoever. I do not think that this conduct by the Speaker, as you were alluding to, means that or translates into the Speaker having any soft spot for
or
the
remorse,
majority.
or
remorse.
he
Not at
agrees
all.
with them that he
Look,
erred, and
no, no.
that
How did the speaker err? Look, the speaker was so fair to them, and we even
During
think
the
that
break,
he
forgive me.
was overly fair, because he could have on his own, instead of even saying that I think, because he wasn't sure. And the standing order provides, order 1131 provides that he could have just called for a head count.
Did he also say after the I think that the, what they call it, the ayes have it?
No.
Did he say,
No, he didn't
I
say
think
that.
the ayes
No,
have it,
no,
and
he-
subsequently say, the ayes have it,
No.
without the I think part coming in?
No, he never
He
said
did
that.
never
He
say
never
that.
said that.
But
He
the
never
majority
said that.
leader says that's what he says subsequently.
So look, this majority leader has been saying a lot of things today.
Okay.
I can understand his days, he's embarrassed, and I think that his leadership will be called into question.
During the break,
This is because he's the only majority leader who, on 2 occasions, this never happened in our entire history. 2 occasions, you have not been able to marshal your troops to defend your budget, to approve your budget. So this majority leader already is going into ignominy.
but this is a very peculiar
You know?
parliament. I mean,
Yeah,
unlike
but-
times where
yeah,
there's
but-
167 and one
Look,
whatever
you
period, where just 4 or 5 may not make a massive
he-
impact in the parliament.
he-
This is a parliament that's very thin on the numbers.
Granted,
yes. So
granted,
it's not as if he
granted,
voted for the people of every
Grant-
constituency and determined the
granted,
numbers in the parliament.
Granted, but he said he could do it. He said he could do the job. He said that they will mobilize their numbers.
During the break, leadership was called. What did the speaker discuss with you?
I am not in leadership, in the core leadership.
Yeah.
I'm just part of extended leadership when ranking members
But
are
he came to
included.
tell you what the discussion with the
No,
speaker was.
I haven't. I have not had the benefit of what was discussed in conclave.
Were you aware that the speaker was going to adjourn the house till tomorrow?
To be honest, that came to us as a surprise. Look, I even thought that the precedent that was set the last time, which has always been said, because, parliamentary walkouts, boycotts, are all part of the tools of parliament. And you don't hold parliament to ransom when you walk out. So, as the speaker has done consistently in time past, and not only this speaker, previous speakers, we were all expecting. That's why we remain in our seats. And you heard, people shouting, away, just leave quickly and let's go on with business. We were expecting that the question would be put so that we will just, cut the head of the snake, to put it figuratively. But unfortunately, Speaker thought that he should give consensus rapprochement a chance and come back and see if we could probably have some win-win situation, because we will have been happy if the taxes, for example, were taken out, because there are 2 main things that really annoy us. It is the taxes and then those tax waivers.
Is the question I'm coming to now, whether or not your conduct was in the interest of the people of this republic, or you are pursuing parochial partisan ends with this. We know that election is 2024, so politicians do a lot of grandstanding. This posturing in parliament on this matter, exactly what is the basis for saying that the budget should be rejected?
So I have here a copy of the about 30-page speech that our leader, the Honorable Atifosin, read in closing today as he summed up our concerns about the 2024 budget. And really, everybody who's been listening to us, following the debate, we did not hide it at all, that after hearing the budget, as read from the finance minister, we were clear in our minds that this is not a budget which is in the interest of the Ghanaian people. I mean, how do I go back to Northtown and tell the people that I gladly voted for more taxes? And if you look at the taxes...
I can tell them that you voted for a huge amount of money, millions of cities to be given
this is
for the areas, right?
This is a budget which imposes additional VAT to the tune of 4.2 billion Ghana cedis. This is a budget that imposes a 5% flat rate on VAT for real estate. This is a budget that imposes VAT on financial services. This is a budget that introduces VAT on items that have long been excluded. Textbooks, exercise books, newspapers,
VAT,
publications. Yes. Architectural plans and similar plans, scientific and technical works, magazines, periodicals, trade catalogs, price lists, calendars, diaries and stations. Items that had never attracted VAT. This government, for the first time, has introduced VAT on domestic transportation, whether it's by road, rail, or water. So even now, my Volta River boat crossing will be taxed. I mean, I am from a river constituency. How am I going to defend this? You have the expansion of the obnoxious communication service tax, which is going to generate 622 million for this government. So you have all of these taxes, and in addition to that, they have selected crony companies. It is not commensurate.
Are you talking about the quantum or the numbers we saw?
All of it.
Really?
All of it.
Because the list suggested that, yes.
Both quantum and then, look, this pretends that, for example, they've sought to do a lot of song and dance about the zero rating on sanitary pads, for example.
Yes.
Look.
For local producers.
What's the capacity? How will that make an impact? I mean, the last time we checked, there are only 2 companies, and their capacity is less than 10%. So our mothers, sisters, the females of this country who have been agitating that across the board, deal with the issue, deal with it boldly. They have only sought to, as it were, tinker with it. So when it comes to they giving relief reluctantly, and it's a tiny little drop. Then when it comes to imposing more taxes, they just go full blast. So you have a situation where if we approve this budget, you are going to have the Ghanaian people who are already reeling. For the first time in our history, people have had to take financial haircuts. It never happened. People have had to go through a domestic debt restructuring. It never happened. People have lost their investments, their savings. I mean, pensioner bondholders can't get their coupons. For the first time, pensioners have to have a rude awakening from retirement and go to the Ministry of Finance to pick it. I mean, for the first time in many years, I mean, virtually my lifetime, inflation went to 51%. Can you believe that? And you know that inflation is the biggest armed robber of your earnings, of your income. So when you have this situation where you have, by your mismanagement, your gross, incompetence and ineptitude, you have put Ghanaians through this mess. What the Ghanaian people expect are reliefs. What they expect are incentives. You should rather be helping them out of the quagmire that you put them in, not more taxes. And you see, to add insult to injury, you then bring in your 45 companies. We are saying all of us should pay more taxes.
Burden sharing.
How come your crony companies, you then select 45 companies, and you are giving them tax waivers? Tax waivers to the tune of $450 million. But we've never seen them on this scale. We've never seen this. I mean, particularly, read the president's first State of the Nation address. He said, look, tax waivers were killing this country. It was like a vampire sucking us dry. He's going to do something about tax waivers. What has happened? I mean, these are people who, if they are drivers, they turn the navigator to the left and turn right. I mean, no regard for the Ghanaian people. They don't keep their word.
So this is why
over $450 million. Meanwhile, this year, you're expecting $600 million from the IMF. And about 80% of that. And then $450 million in tax waivers. I mean, you wonder what kind of management of an economy this is. So we say that this budget is so insensitive. It does not address the plight of the people. Look, even the disaster we'll be discussing in my constituency.
Are we not being unfair, especially when we are being cut out of the international capital markets and we are unable to raise money on these? We are struggling to even pay the ones we have raised previously. And we have to raise resources from within to solve the problems of the people of North and the rest of this country. If government is seeking to raise resources from local sources, is that not the best way to go?
I'm glad.
What exactly will be the option here anyway?
I'm glad you asked this question. So, first of all, we must admit that we should not have gotten here in the first place. There's a reason that no president in the history of this country has brought us this low, into this abyss. It's never happened that we're going through risk, and that is why all around us, I don't know of any country in Africa going through domestic debt restructuring, where people are taking financial haircuts. You remember I was the one who led the charge. That, look, you guys are spending like there's no tomorrow. You remember all the things I was raising. I said, why do we have a presidential jet? You pack it, you don't want to use it, a jet in pristine condition ordered by President Kufuor, used by President Mills, President Mahama. It has more than a 20-year life period. In less than 10 years, you said you don't want to use it. You were chartering luxurious jets, 20,000 euros an hour. How many months did I talk about this? They won't listen to me. National Cathedral. How many months? I kept unraveling all kinds of things. You know, the money is being diverted. It turned out that they were using the contingency vote. They didn't come to Parliament for approvals. They just engaged in, look, if a promise to God, you make a promise to God, and you can't even be transparent about it. You can't be honest, be clean, be pure about it. Then how about promises to men? So as we speak, they have created, as Atu Forson described it this afternoon, the biggest man-made manhole, the most expensive in the world. Over 339 million Ghana cedis. Imagine what that money could have done at the time, $100 million, the exchange rate. Imagine what it could have done for this economy. You remember when I talked about the increasing numbers at the Office of Government Machinery, consistently in Parliament. I was called names. They ignored me. They treated my concerns with contempt. This is a president who believes in big government. He appoints over 100 ministers. He appoints many staffers. You know, approaching 1,000. He can't be bothered. They were spending, living large, like an Arabian king, like a Russian oligarch, like a British aristocrat, like there's no tomorrow. The chickens have come home to roost. Here we are. You have brought this upon yourself. We've been shut out of the financial market. Now you ask a question that what is the way forward?
Yeah.
We were expecting that we will see fiscal adjustments. We will see.
Specifically which sections and sectors?
So many sectors.
Capital expenditure?
Capital expenditure. First of all, start at the Office of Government Machinery, at the presidency. Look.
But reduce numbers?
Reduce numbers.
Really?
Yes, so many people who have to be given a handshake and say, thank you very much, go home. You people have been part of the mess.
That's politically feasible.
Why not? Why not?
In an election year.
Why not?
A budget for the election year.
Of course. And you know the goodwill that look, because ahead of this election, I listened to people like Kwame Pienim, like Ishmael Yamsen. I mean, very respected economists. You know, people like Professor Ade, all of them saying that, look, you must lead by example. Cut government expenditure. I mean, even during the presidential primaries, some of the president's own party members, I had Kwabena Japan, I had Kennedy Japan, I had Alan. All of them say that, look, we've been part of the team, but we know why we're in this mess. Reduce the number of ministers, reduce the number of staffers, reduce the number of ministries, reduce the number of, I mean, the grandiosity, you know, the extravagance. They wouldn't listen. Oh, no. So you come and tell us that let us tighten our belt. Yeah. Then when we lift up your shirt or your kaftan, you lift it up. We notice that you don't even have belt holes at all to even fix a belt.
Is there a midway to this? Tomorrow you'll go back to the Parliament.
Yes.
They will seek to, if they agree that it's not been passed, they will seek to pass it again. Will the minority play ball?
No, I mean, we are not shifting unless they come and tell us that they have taken out the taxes, reduced it substantially. And if they tell us that they are reducing the number of the ministers, presidential staffers, they are cutting down on all this waste, then we are reasonable. We are not, let me be clear, we are not a bunch of anarchists. We don't want to make the country ungovernable. I mean, we've been in government before.
The last time you were at it, you have been blamed for where we go with e-levy, where the downgrades happened, and the massive pain we went through in 2022.
Please, if you
remember, right?
Yeah, I mean, they don't hold water. Look, if you even look at the sovereign credit rating agents, they have been downgrading Ghana consistently. even before COVID. Look, when it suits them, depending on where they are standing.
That was the last straw.
In the morning, they will blame Russia, Ukraine. In the afternoon, they blame COVID. In the evening, let's look for the minority and blame them. Look, they blame everybody apart from themselves.
How long are you willing to hold this position?
It's not changing. I mean, this is a very firm position. We had a caucus meeting this morning. We had another one after. We are resolute. Look, it's about defending the Ghanaian people. And you see, we've engaged with our constituents, we've listened to them, and we've followed, reaction to this budget. The Ghanaian people are saying that, look, to the extent that this government does not want to cut expenditure, they don't want to impose fiscal adjustment, be fiscally disciplined. They don't want to lead by example. They don't want to stop this crony capitalism. Look at what Katie Hammond is also trying to do with this, is, restrictions. It's all about, rent seeking, state capture, creating, a certain create, loot, and share cabal, which hijacks the resources meant for all of us. And then we continue to be squeezed.
But that'll be late tomorrow.
How much?
Well, let's
see how it goes. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that, Katie.
I'm not sure what you mean about the speaker was categorical that he can lay it on Thursday.
Yes, that's the speaker. Whether we have, that's the speaker's expectations. Speakers have all kinds of expectations. I mean, you take our order paper, for example, some questions were programmed.
Are you saying that you're going to oppose it
for today? Yes, certainly. We are opposed to that, Ella. And I was talking to colleagues on the subsidiary legislation committee, and it looks like Katie Hammond is even doing his worst, adding more to the list.
22.
Yes, now 24. Is adding more items to the list. Katie Hammond must be stopped. So look, these guys have shown that they don't listen. They are not team players. They don't build consensus. And we are not going to allow them to, continue to destroy this country. Haven't they destroyed this country enough?
I need to talk about what's happening in Northtown, the relief and resettlement plans. But we need to take a break. When we come back, my guest is the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, and the minority side, which was trying to shoot down the budget today, which led to the majority boycotting and Parliament being adjourned to tomorrow. After the break, we'll continue our conversation.
Every day, people have money emergencies.
I need my school fees.
Emergency.
Mommy, chop
money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm your rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with your front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get
From the days of Kwame Nkrumah's relentless fight for freedom, Ghana's journey has been nothing short of remarkable. It's a land where resilience and hope run deep. Through the years, Ghanaian leaders have risen with bold initiatives, becoming a beacon of hope for Africa and its citizens. It's a story of nation building, from the ashes of colonialism to the soaring heights of sovereignty. Fear has given way to optimism. Ghana has not only become an example to its neighbors, but a symbol of peace, growth, independence, and innovation. And now, we script a new era. A modern era of convenience and innovation, Introducing Chopbox, a future filled with job opportunities for our youth and credit facilities to provide a brighter future for all. Imagine stress-free shopping, where there are no more long drives, no more market hustle. A company that places its customers above all else, fighting tirelessly to make their lives easier. Where credit opens doors previously locked, and where convenience is not just a luxury, but a way of life. This is the journey of Ghana, a journey marked by resilience and the relentless pursuit of progress. Chopbox is our new era change from the old to the new. Chopbox, a convenient service.
Give, and it shall be given unto you.
A good measure, pressed down, shaking together and running over, will be poured into your lap.
For the measure you use, it shall be measured unto you.
Luke 6:38.
Thou shalt not beat around the bush. If it's fruit salad you want, ask, and it shall be given to you.
Life is sweeter when you give from the heart. Frutally, the all-natural fruit juice. This advert is FDA.
Every day, people have money emergencies.
I need my school fees.
Emergency.
Mommy, chop
money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm your rent. Emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
You're welcome to our very conversation on what's happening in the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana with the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, where the majority walked out. The minority stayed in Parliament, but the Speaker ended up adjourning the proceedings for the day to tomorrow. The budget, the Finance Minister says the budget has been passed and that he's convinced that that has been settled. The minority says, no, I'm not sure if that's the same position that the majority is holding on this matter. But in studio is a man who's been fighting more than just budgetary issues in Parliament. He has a massive, and it's a national disaster on our hands in the areas of Northern and surrounding areas, and also constituencies. Honorable Samuel Okudjata-Ablakwa, exactly what is the state of affairs in Northern today?
I mean, you do know, Raymond, as you have said, that in our lifetime, we've not seen the number, these number of people displaced before. According to NADMO, across the country, almost 40,000 people are displaced. Northern, sadly, is the epicenter. We have 12,633 people displaced. As I speak to you now, these displaced people are living in classrooms. And I made a point yesterday when I contributed to the budget that it is really a national embarrassment that 9 weeks and counting, we cannot find alternative housing for displaced persons. No fault of theirs. And I brought pictures to Parliament, 92-year-old, 82-year-old, 68-year-olds who are putting up in those inhumane, insanitary schools. Remember that these are not even boarding schools, day schools, no kitchenettes, no bathrooms, no toilets, no washrooms, no bedrooms. They are not places that are conducive for residential stay. And people are living in destitution, living like refugees in their own hometowns. And it is really traumatizing. I've lost count of the number of times I've broken down, visiting my constituents, engaging them. And when you ask direct questions, what did we do to deserve this? You can't respond. When they ask you, so will I ever get my savings back? My clothes, my jewelry, my farms, my fish ponds. I mean, the young man who came to me with his workers, Felix Greenstreet, in Mafa, who had gone for a loan, 400,000 cedis, and set up, a very thriving, fish farm. They're asking me questions. Will we ever be compensated? It's very difficult to look in their eyes and give them straight answers because there's no certainty. So,
are there state-sponsored plans of resettlement underway?
So when you read the 2024 budget, the finance minister talked about two phases. The relief phase, which he says that they are allocating 220 million cedis. But he says that's for the relief phase. So for the restoration phase, which would deal with resettlement and compensation, sadly, there is no specific allocation. He says that they have applied to two institutions, the World Bank, and then there's this global fund for climate change relief. And it's not clear what the responses will be from these international bodies and how much will come from there. And even with the budgetary allocation of 220 million, we all know there's a world of difference between what is allocated and what is actually released. So it's a nightmare. Never seen anything like this, to have all these thousands of people. And you see, for school children, they are displaced twice. Displaced from their homes, displaced from their schools. Because I've had to mobilize volunteer teachers to be teaching them in the compounds, and the trees, and the sheds. But even with that, was the quality, was even the concentration level? Because there's a lot of activities, a beehive of activity. Donors are coming in. Yeah. We are offloading relief items and all of that. And, if you thought that the conditions in those classrooms are anything that, you would even wish for your worst enemy, you are wrong. As I speak to you, so in terms of the high level of the water, it's receded, and I must commend engineers and planners. They helped us in the last days when the stubborn waters wouldn't recede, with a lot of dredging support. NADMO military came in at some point. I salute all of them for helping. But will you believe it that even after all these weeks, we are still pumping out water from some of the communities, the valleys. We are still trying to pump out water from homes into the Volta River. What we are also doing now is carrying out what we are calling the structural integrity assessment, because as the houses that were submerged now have some relief because the water levels have receded, you still cannot guarantee the safety of the homeowners if they return. So we have asked them to remain in the camps. Let's finish the structural integrity assessment to be sure that those buildings are really safe for human habitation. So that structural assessment is being done. Now, those who even have a building standing for the structural assessment are the lucky ones. About 1,500 houses were totally damaged in my constituency alone. Totally destroyed, crumbled under the high waters. Remember that in rural Ghana, a lot of our houses are not that robust, are not that resilient. A lot of them are mud houses. So, after days, some of them hours under these submerged waters, they just crumbled and gave way. So for these people, resettlement is urgent, is crucial. And I'm disappointed. I was telling Parliament yesterday that it's disappointing that throughout this entire budget, there's no mention of the Saglemi housing project. Fortunately for us, we are very close to Saglemi, even though that is in another constituency, but less than 40 kilometers from our constituency. And that could have helped as an interim place to house the people. At least they will get their dignity back, because that is, a building constructed for residential accommodation. These schools are not made for residential accommodation. So unfortunately, we don't see any attempt to just, complete Saglemi. Saglemi, what is outstanding, I'm told, is about 95% complete. I'm told there's just a few plumbing and electrical works. I would have thought that would have been done urgently, but no mention of Saglemi in the budget. And the irony is that this government is seeking to start new housing projects in Pokuase and in the Ashanti region for 2024. And you wonder, what really, that's why I was reminding, the president that, look, if you pay regard to the oaths that our presidents take, our vice presidents take under the second schedule of our constitution, it's a really powerful oath. And
unfortunately, I have to interrupt because the same time is up.
Oh, yes, but let me. You see, the oath is clear that you should do right to all manner of persons.
Yes.
But I must. It's unfortunate that we don't have time. But let me quickly thank corporate Ghana, the media, individuals, celebrities. A lot of Ghanaians have really come through to support us, and we are grateful. I want to thank Mawom's Construction for helping us with roads that were cut off, engineers and planners. First Sky Group for helping us with the housing project, which is going to house about 300 people in the next few days. And we continue to roll out initiatives. For example, my 50 most affected tertiary students, we paid full fees. There are teachers who we are asking to come back. I've dedicated 100,000 cedis to support their rent. So we'll continue with this.
I'm grateful to you for coming in. I'm sure we should help more. But thank you so much also for watching Up Front today.